everybody. So I wanted to get you started on practice. So in order to do that, I have a couple ideas for what we can get. So the first thing, knitters and crocheters get one skein of yarn. And in a few seconds, I'll show you what I mean by that. But one skein of yarn and either a crochet hook or a set of knitting needles. So let's take a look. So let's look at the practice materials. So I wrote you a note, and this is your shopping list of what to buy. So you need one skein of yarn. It doesn't have to be large. It could be around a couple hundred yards, just the standard size that you get in the store. Any color that you want. Just make sure that it will say things like worsted or 4-ply or medium on the back. And all that is your standard yarn that anybody usually has around the house for school projects or something like that. It's nothing spectacular or fancy. So you don't get ones with like baubles on them or cool little beading or anything like that. Just a plain old skein of yarn. So how we're going to use this piece of yarn, or this whole thing of yarn, is that we're going to learn our stitches on it. So you can think of it as we're making a really long scarf. So we'll go back and forth and we'll try all the different stitches on it. So any color that you like, any color that you want to use, this is just something fun for you to practice on. Maybe while you're there, crocheters, since we're still trying to decide on which project to do, you might want to look at or purchase yarn for that. That too is just for both projects, plain yarn, worsted 4 or medium. And as you saw, both of those projects had multiple colors. So you might want to pick up, just to save yourself a trip, a couple different sizes. For my crocheters, I would recommend getting a crochet hook that has a US I9, or sometimes it has the UK of 5.5 millimeters. So this is that hook. By the way, this is the same hook for either crochet project that we will use for that. So you're buying practice materials, but you can use them for other things. For my knitters, all right guys, so this is starting with you. I know we have a whole bunch of people waiting to knit. I would recommend getting a 7 millimeter, so it's US 7 or US 8 millimeter. So just to show you what they look like, I have 2 examples. So this is the 7. These are really extra long. You do not need to get ones that are this long, but notice the thickness. They're not overly thick, and where you will find the numbers obviously on the packaging, but it's actually on the needle. And you're probably not going to be able to see this, but just to let you know, it's on the bottom of that. So I'll zoom up. You probably can't read it, but that's okay. The other pair, so that's the 8. Another recommendation is a 7. And I did find my piggies. So if you were watching, here are my little piggies. Hi, you're gonna knit me? There they are. So these are a 7. You don't need to get fancy baubles on the top of them, just something plain. You can get bamboo, you can get plastic, or you can get metallic. And that goes for the crochet hook too. You don't have to get the metallic one, you can get something plastic. The cool thing now is that the crochet hooks have been coming in packages of 4. So you can get random sizes. So try to get something around, because sometimes they sell the larger ones. So try to get something around the US I9 in order to use that. So one skein of yarn, any color that you want, in a 4-ply or a medium or worsted weight. So that means that it's a certain thickness that we're looking for. Any color. This is your practice yarn. For our crocheters, we're getting a US I9, and here's a version of that. You don't have to get a pink one, any color you want. And then for our knitting needles, either get a 7 or an 8. Again, any size that you want. They don't have to be fancy. So where do you buy these things? Well, to be honest, they pretty much sell them anywhere. So you can get them at Walmart. You can go to any craft store. I know in New Jersey, or actually kind of in the Midwest, there's the Hobby Lobby. We don't have Hobby Lobby in Maryland, but you know all the craft stores that we have here. I will say that if you do go to a specialty yarn shop, and there are some around that are independent retailers, you will pay much more for yarn. It's not the standard brand that mass retailers of yarn or the mass retailers of materials. It's usually a couple more dollars for each of those things. So I would go something cheap, something easy that you can use but is durable. So that's it. So I'll start posting videos next week on the first set of stitches. For our crocheters, we're going to learn how to chain and do a single crochet. And for our knitters, we're going to learn how to cast on and do the knit stitch. So I will see you guys next time.